Welcome to Whiskey's a Journey. My name is Peter Fasciano. Today, we're going to go ahead and continue my international whiskey series. We are going to leave New Zealand and we're going to head over to Germany and we're going to be taking a look at Eifel Whisky, the 2021 release. Eifel Whisky is a German single malt. Let's go ahead and pour it, nose it, taste it, talk about it a little bit. And then if you stick around until the end, I'm going to give this thing a score. It's coming in at 46% ABV, non-chill filtered, natural color. It does not have an age statement, but it is matured for 4 years in bourbon barrels, and then it's matured for another 4 years in first and second fill cream sherry casks. Very interesting. We also have this as a 700 milliliter bottle, and I paid $75.99 in Phoenix, Arizona, but it's sitting on the shelf currently in Total Wine & More for I think like $45. And even before I get it up to my nose, it smells very sweet. All right. There is a sherry note that I initially get out of this. I'm also getting some sort of marshmallow and wood. And true to form, all of those sherry cask notes are coming through: raisins, dates, figs, plums. There's a good amount of malt that I'm also getting, and like oats. Like if you were to open up Quaker Oats and put your nose in there, that's kind of what I'm getting. But it is predominantly sweet and malty. You know what? It's not Quaker Oats. Like if you were to open up a thing of those instant Quaker Oats and put your nose in it, it's actually those bags. If you were to rip open a cinnamon raisin oatmeal Quaker Oat, that's what that smells like. That's almost exactly what this smells like. All right, let's get it on the palate, see what I think. Oh, got a little residue there. Yeah, everything on the palate is coming through. Really good sweet malt, the raisins, the cinnamon spice. I get a lot of dried fruit, Christmas spice, and there's a familiar note. Let me get that second sip. There's a familiar note in here. Give me a second. I think it's like right there. All right, there it is. A couple of years back, I threw my back out and I ended up having some inflammation and I got tart cherry juice. And at the end of the night, I would take some turmeric pills with 12 ounces of water and a concentrated dark cherry juice. The note that I'm getting in here is the dark tart cherry juice just by itself, not with the water. That's crazy. It's a tart cherry juice. That's wild. And along with that tart cherry juice, it comes along with that spice as well. The cinnamon, the dark sherry notes are also in there. The raisins, figs, dates, plums, all of that is in here. Good amount of oak, pretty malty. And maybe on the back end, I'm picking up on a little bit of barrel char. And there is a very small amount of caramel. All in all, it's not bad, and that's not a negative thing coming out of the glass with the tart cherry juice. You know, sometimes you can associate something that's pretty negative, and if I project that into the glass, I might get a negative opinion on this. And right now, I can say that this is pretty good. I wouldn't say that it's fantastic. It's kind of on the average note. Let me go ahead and add some water to this, and then talk a little bit about the information that I have from this distillery. I'm only going to add a couple of drops here. Roll the glass. And since this is all brand new to me, I am going to refer to my notes. So Eifel was a creation of Stephen Mohr, M-O-H-R. I don't know if that's how you pronounce the last name or not. He established this in 2009. He was known in the industry as a wine importer and a barrel, what do they call it? A barrel broker. And apparently it's a pretty small distillery. They have enough room, or at least they did for the article that I read, they only had enough room for 56 barrels. And based on the spirit that is going into each of these casks, he would kind of marry the casks up, and he would be very, very specific in his blending. He didn't want to waste any of the barrels, so if it didn't turn out the way that he'd want them, he would actually recask them or rebarrel them to see if he can salvage them. And then instead of producing a product that he wasn't satisfied with, he would rather dump the barrels and start all over again than to put out something that he wasn't proud of or happy with. So you kind of have to commend him for his dedication to his craft to make sure that he's not just putting something out there to sell. He really wants to put his quality stamp behind it. And other than that, there's really not a whole lot on the distillery. So let's go ahead and get this sip in with the water and then give it a score. So on the nose, there's not much difference with and without water. It's just muted a little bit. Let's get it on the palate. A little bit more spice, a lot more spice, more of the oak, more of the tannin. The sherry note is front and center. The cinnamon raisin spice, the malt, the oats, the tart cherry juice is still there, which it's throwing me for a loop, but it's pretty good. Yeah, it's a pretty well balanced single malt, German single malt. Other than the spice, and I wouldn't call this spice a sharp edge, I think it's pretty well balanced from the front of the palate to the mid and the back, and the finish seems to be medium to long. It definitely has a very unique note, something that I really haven't picked up on in single malts before, and maybe that is because of the cream sherry cask. I don't even know what that is. And I do have to make a correction. It's not aged for 4 years in ex-bourbon. It's actually aged 4 years with the ex-Bordeaux. I looked at my notes and I saw the letter B, and I just thought, I naturally assumed that it was ex-bourbon, but it's not. It's ex-Bordeaux casks. So this being aged 4 years in the ex-Bordeaux and the first and second fill cream sherry casks, this is a very unique single malt. It's coming across a little bit different on the nose and on the palate than most other single malts that I've had. So in that respect, I'd say that it's good. But the overall experience, I can't say is spectacular. So if you're new here, my rating system is out of 5 stars. And based on everything that I said there, I would put this right at 3 stars. A pretty average rating. I think I probably have to spend a little bit more time with this, maybe revisit this a little bit later. But right now, based on what I'm getting and the uniqueness, I would have to put this right at 3. I think I would reach for the New Zealand whiskey over this one just because of the peated notes. Even though I do like sherry in my whiskey, I think I'm liking the New Zealand peat a little bit more than the German Bordeaux and creamed sherry. So do me a favor, let me know in the comments down below if you are familiar with Eifel Whisky, if you have had anything from them. If you like this information and you are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. Just go and click on that little button right there. Turn that bell notification on because I release videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So that's where I'm going to leave it today. I have 3 more international whiskeys to cover, and then I'm going to jump into my single barrel bourbons that's going to take me through the rest of the year. And with that, I hope you're enjoying your journey, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.